Look at the silver price today. It feels like we've been waiting for this moment for a long time. You see the green on the screen, and your first instinct is to lock in those profits. Is it finally time to sell? Or are we just getting started? It's February 2026. The market looks a lot different than it did a few years ago. I get it. The urge to cash out is strong when you've been holding through the boring years. If you remember when silver was stuck in that narrow range. Now that it's moving, everyone has an opinion. Some people say, wait for 50. Others are already running to the local coin shop. I've been looking at the data lately. Industrial demand isn't slowing down. Solar technology is eating up more supply than ever. But the price doesn't always follow logic. Have you checked your stack recently? It's a heavy weight to carry, both literally and figuratively. You bought it as insurance, but insurance is only useful if you eventually use it. Most people sell too early because they're scared of a pullback. They see a small dip and panic. I don't want you to be that person. Think about why you started stacking in the first place. Was it for a quick flip? Probably not. Silver is a patient man's game, but even patience has its limits. The economy is sending mixed signals right now. Inflation isn't the monster it was, but it's still there. Interest rates are shifting again. Central banks are keeping everyone on their toes. What is your exit strategy? Do you even have one? Most stackers never actually plan to sell. They just collect and collect. Then one day, life happens, and they have to sell out of necessity. That is the worst way to do it. You lose your leverage when you're in a rush. Selling silver isn't as easy as clicking a button on a phone. You have to deal with premiums and spreads. Physical metal is a different beast. I've been weighing my own options this week. The charts are starting to look a bit stretched, but the fundamentals tell a different story. There is a gap between what we see and what is actually happening. Are you feeling the pressure to sell? Let's break down the reality of the 2026 market. We need to talk about the supply side. Mining output has been struggling to keep up for years. New silver mines don't just appear overnight. It takes a decade to get a project from discovery to production. In 2026, we are seeing the results of underinvestment from years ago. The deficit in physical silver is real. But does a deficit always mean a higher price? Not necessarily. The paper market still controls the daily fluctuations. You've seen it happen. The demand is high, yet the price drops on a random Tuesday. It's frustrating to watch. That's why you shouldn't base your entire strategy on the spot price. Look at the premiums instead. Are people paying way over spot for American Silver Eagles? If the premiums are shrinking, the retail demand might be cooling off. Right now, the premiums are holding steady. That tells me the big buyers are still interested. Think about the electronics in your house. Silver is in almost every single one of them. Electric vehicles are using more silver than the gasoline cars of the past. The green energy push isn't a trend anymore. It's the standard. Does it make sense to sell when the world needs the metal more than ever? Honestly, it depends on your personal goals. If you need the cash for a down payment, take it. Silver is a tool, not a religion. But if you're just trying to time the top, you're playing a dangerous game. Nobody rings a bell at the peak. You'll only know it was the top after it's already dropped 20%. I've seen people hold through a bull run and all the way back down. They regret not taking a little off the table. Maybe the answer isn't all or nothing. Have you considered selling in small batches? Trimming a position can take the emotional weight off. It lets you secure some wins while staying in the game. I'm looking at my own stack and wondering if it's too bulky. Moving 500 ounces isn't exactly a discrete task. Liquidity matters more than people realize. How fast can you turn your silver into usable currency? Your local dealer might not have the cash on hand if everyone sells at once. Have you checked their buyback prices lately? It's a good way to gauge the local market health. Some shops are turning away sellers. Others are hungry for inventory. Which one is it in your town? The value of your silver isn't just about the dollar amount. It's about what those dollars can actually buy you today. In 2026, the purchasing power of the dollar is a moving target. If you sell now, where are you putting that cash? Savings accounts are still losing out to real-world costs. The stock market feels like it's walking a tightrope. Real estate isn't the bargain it used to be. If you sell your silver, you're trading a hard asset for a soft one. That's a big decision to make in an unstable year. Have you looked at the silver to gold ratio lately? It's historically been a great indicator of value. When the ratio is high, silver is cheap compared to gold. When it narrows, silver is usually outperforming. We are seeing that gap start to close right now. That usually happens in the middle of a true bull market. It suggests there is still room to run. But how much room? I've talked to people who are waiting for 3-digit silver. That's a lofty goal. It might happen, but it might take another 5 years. Can you wait that long? Think about your age and your timeline. A 20-year-old stacker has a different strategy than someone in retirement. If you are 65, maybe taking profits now is the smart move. You can't take it with you, but if you're young, you have the luxury of time. Don't let the hype on social media dictate your moves. There are a lot of moon boys out there making wild claims. They've been saying silver will hit $100 since 2011. I prefer to stay grounded in what the charts actually show. Resistance levels are starting to show up around the current price. We've hit a ceiling a few times this month. Every time we touch it, the sellers come out. That's a sign that the market is testing the strength of the buyers. Do the buyers have enough conviction to break through? If we break this level, the next stop could be a new all-time high. But if we fail here, we could see a long correction. Are you prepared for a 20% drop next week? If that thought makes your stomach churn, you might be over-leveraged. Check your emotions. They are usually the worst investment advisors. The smartest investors are the ones who can remain cold. They look at the silver on the table and see a commodity. Nothing more, nothing less. Is your silver a collection or an investment? The answer to that changes everything. Let's talk about the psychological trap of breaking even. Many people bought silver during the last big spike. They've been underwater for years, just waiting to see their initial investment return. Now that the price is back, they want to get out and forget the whole thing. That's a relief-based decision, not a logical one. If you sell just to break even, you might be exiting right before the real gains start. On the other hand, don't hold on out of spite. The market doesn't care what price you paid. It only cares about supply and demand right now. Look at the geopolitical landscape in 2026. Tensions haven't exactly cooled down since the early 2020s. Trade barriers are making it harder to move refined metal across borders. This creates pockets of high prices in certain countries. In the United States, we are feeling the pinch of domestic refining limits. If you have physical bars or rounds in your hand, you have a premium asset. It is private, it is portable, and it has no counterparty risk. That is a rare thing in a digital world. Every time you log into your bank, you are relying on their system to work. Silver doesn't need a power grid to have value. Is that worth more to you than a number in a bank account? For many, the peace of mind is the real dividend. But peace of mind won't pay your property taxes. At some point, the metal has to be converted. I'm watching the volume of silver being traded on the exchanges. It's higher than usual for this time of year. That usually means the big institutional players are reshuffling their portfolios. When the big money moves, the retail crowd usually gets trampled. Are you watching the whales or are you following the minnows? The minnows are all over the forums talking about to the moon. The whales are quietly accumulating or distribution. I'm seeing signs of distribution at these levels. That means the smart money is selling to the excited money. Historically, that's a signal that the local top is near. It doesn't mean the end of the bull market. It just means a breather is coming. Could you use a breather? Maybe this is the time to trade your silver for something else. Have you looked at the price of land? Or maybe you want to rotate into gold if the ratio improves. Swapping one metal for another is a great way to stay in the hard asset space. It keeps you protected while you wait for better silver prices. I've done this a few times myself over the years. It feels a lot better than just sitting on cash. Cash feels like a melting ice cube. Silver feels like a heavy brick. Which one would you rather hold during a storm? We aren't out of the woods yet. There are still plenty of clouds on the horizon. So, what is the final verdict for 2026? Is it too early to sell? The answer isn't in a chart or a spreadsheet. It's in your own personal balance sheet. Look at your total net worth. If silver makes up more than 10%, you might be taking too much risk. Rebalancing is a sign of a mature investor. It's not giving up on the metal. It's making sure you can survive the next downturn. Because there will be a downturn. There always is. Markets move in waves, and we've been riding a big one. Think about the tax implications of selling now. Capital gains can eat a large chunk of your profit if you aren't careful. Have you held your silver long enough to qualify for long-term rates? In the United States, the IRS treats precious metals as collectibles. That means a higher tax rate than regular stocks. Keep your receipts and your records organized. Selling at the wrong time could result in a surprise bill next April. I'm personally holding about 80% of my position. I've sold a little bit just to cover my original costs. That way, everything left in the safe is house money. It's a lot easier to sleep at night when you've already won. The fear of missing out starts to fade away. You can watch the price go up or down without your heart rate changing. Are you at that point yet? If you're still checking the price every hour, you're too emotionally invested. Step back and look at the big picture. The world is changing and hard assets are becoming more respected again. Central banks are adding to their reserves for a reason. They know something that the average person doesn't. But even they sell when the price hits their targets. Don't be afraid to take a win. Pigs get fat, but hogs get slaughtered. It's an old saying for a reason. The window to sell at a high price doesn't stay open forever. It can slam shut in a single afternoon. What would you do if the price dropped $5 tomorrow? Would you be okay with that? If the answer is no, then you have your answer. Sell a little today, keep a little for tomorrow. The 2026 silver market is full of opportunities for those who stay calm. Don't let the noise drown out your own common sense. You've done the hard work of stacking for years. Now is the time to be smart about how you finish the journey. Thanks for walking through my thinking with me today. I'll be watching the markets closely this week. Take care of your stack, and it will take care of you.